Today we're going to tie a sparrow that I learned from the originator, Jack Gartside, which he used to fish in the Yellowstone area quite a bit. And he's fished all over with this fly for many species. And my experience is that it's a very good fly. So the hook I'm using today happens to be a Firehole 419, which is a dry fly hook. But mostly I use wet fly hooks on this. It's not, this fly is not really fussy in terms of the hook selection. So now we're gonna pick a feather off of a pheasant rump. Since this is a large size fly, I'm going for the larger size feather. And we want a feather that has a lot of mottling on it. The fish do not like the plain ones. Okay, so there's one. We'll use that one. And we'll take off this feather and save it for later. We'll use that. Now for the tail, we're going to use this basal fluff on the feather. So first I'll trim that off to get us an even end. Now trim a little more off. Now I'll grab one side and make a cut and turn the feather over, open my fingers. The fibers usually stick. Grab the other side, trim that off, and make a little clump. Now we don't want the tail to be too long, so we'll pull out some of the longer fibers. Now I'm going to dub the body out of my own mix, which is half rabbit fur, a quarter snowshoe rabbit hair, and a quarter some sparkly fiber with the goal of making it a sandy color. So we want to shape the body kind of like a carrot, you know, tapered at the tail, and then with a nice ridge at the end. You'll see why we do that in a minute. This fly has often saved the day for me and my buddies. And Josh even wrote a fishing report with a similar story. Nothing was working until he put on the Sparrow and then caught fish. So we want to leave a lot of space up here, maybe about 3 eye widths. And I hit the body one time on each side with a Velcro thing that pulls out the guard hairs. Now I'm going to use silly legs. Take one off the skein there. And we're going to cut it in half. and cut it in half again. And I'm not too fussy with where these legs end up. It doesn't seem to matter to the fish too much. And then trim them a little to kind of even up the lengths. Now we're going to use this under feather that we put aside. This feather requires a light touch. It's a very fragile feather. Each time around, I pull it back on the fibers. We want it to look like kind of a puff ball when we're done there. And wind back over it a bit. Okay, now we're going to prepare this feather. Cut that back so I just have a little triangle there to tie in, so it'll be covered by the head. Now we give this 1.5 wraps. Whip finish, and we're done. There's the sparrow. And if it seems like the hackles are kind of long, that's the way this fly is. It's good to have the hackles be the longest part of this fly. Fish like it that way.